Welcome. My name's Sarah Smallhouse. I'm a trustee of the Brown Foundations, and I would like to welcome you on behalf of all the trustees to this luncheon. This is, ranks right up there as one of our favorite days of the year because we get to shower our appreciation and respect for you and gratefulness that you're here at the University of Arizona studying important things, and research professors who are really at the forefront of the world's most pressing issues. And we get to hear from you. And it's kind of a mutual love fest. It's always a happy occasion. The scholarships and the professorships that the Brown Foundation support are really the legacy of BURR-BROWN Corporation and Tom Brown. And for those of you who have been to this lunch before, you've heard the story. But we feel it's important to tell it over and over again because it's an important story. And the University of Arizona was certainly prominent in the story. Many graduates from the U of A, particularly the engineers, played a really big role in the success of BURR-BROWN. And it became globally significant and a really meaningful contribution to humanity. So all of you here are here because, without making it sound silly, you're special. You have the scholarship, you have the professorships because we think you've distinguished yourselves and you have the capacity to really make a difference in the world, and we like to help you along that path. So that's the purpose of today's luncheon. I hope we tried to sprinkle out the trustees and the professors who are here so that the students can engage us if you wish, and I hope you enjoy the day. So, with that, I would like to recognize some of our VIPs, starting with my sister Mary and her husband Ray. We also have two trustees here, Dan Janes, Dan, there you are, and Sean Kirkpatrick. So glad you guys could join us. We have one other trustee who unfortunately is out of town today and she could not join us, but her name is Barbara Gray. So we also have some VIPs here from, I forgot my own husband. David Smallhouse, right here. Give him a hand. From the university, we have a lot of great people here to lunch with us today. Start with Dr. Hahn, who is the Dean of Engineering, and Dr. Garzon, who is the Dean of Science, and Dr. Cannon, who is our newest Dean in the Eller College of Business. So welcome to you all. We have Dr. Sen-Chen Chen here. There you are. He is the Thomas R. Brown Endowed Chair in Technology Management. And Dr. Joellen Russell, who is an awesome oceanographer and climate scientist. That's not funny, it's just really true.
Thank you, Sarah.
Other of our endowed professors include Dr. Jennifer Barton, who's in Copenhagen right now, presenting on her research. Dr. Joaquin Ruiz, who is the director of Biosphere 2, and I know they just had a board meeting, and I'm sure there's a lot of follow-up, so I'll give him a pass. And Dr. Jessica Tierney, who is our most recent endowed professor, named professor, and I'm not exactly sure what she's up to, but she's right up there at the pinnacle of climate science also, which, you know, I don't have to tell anybody is a pressing topic. So I'm sure she's working. Anyway, we're sorry they can't join us, but they're in your colleges. Seek them out if you would like to. And I would be remiss not to recognize J.P. Rosniak, who is our president of the U of A Foundation and facilitates all the support that people like us want to give to the university and the people at the university. So, welcome everybody. So, my dad got the Technology Entrepreneur of the Year award in, gosh, I don't know, 2001. And the College of Engineering was on their toes, and they taped his speech. Excuse me. We also have one more VIP here today. And she's just one of the most loveliest people I've ever had the pleasure to know in my life. And she was married for many years to Jerry Swanson, who was on our board of trustees. And several of you are Swanson scholars, and there is a teaching award here in Jerry's name. And he also should never be forgotten in this institution. He won every imaginable teaching award. And he did it by keeping a sunny face, and he laughed a lot, and he just helped people learn in an easy kind of way. His wife, Gwen Swanson, is here with us. Sorry, Gwen, you weren't on the list. But anyway, okay, so back to the story, the video. The College of Engineering videoed his story in his words. And I realize I'm a little biased here. I think he's great. I think he's kind of cute. And he tells the story in a decent amount of time. So we show that video, and we will show it to you right now. So enjoy it.
Good advice from all fronts. You know, we benefit in the state of Arizona from the presence of a number of powerful, large, high-tech companies, many of them represented here in this room. Honeywell, Raytheon, Motorola, IBM, long list, AOL, now most recently Texas Instruments. But none of these companies was born and bred in Arizona. We have had our entrepreneurs, of course, but their successes have been mostly in agriculture, land development, and natural resources, in the media, advertising, hospitality industry, but not in the high-tech arena. But there's an exception. And if you look throughout the history of the state of Arizona for an entrepreneur who has built his high-tech company successfully in the state of Arizona, one man stands out, and that's Tom Brown, the man whom we recognize with our Premier Award today. Tom grew up in Longview, Texas. As a child, he not only loved to build things, he loved to manufacture things. That's more unusual. He never wanted to build just one. He wanted to replicate his success and build 10 or 20. An early sign of his career inclinations. At age 16, he enrolled in engineering at MIT. Isn't that impressive? Well, it turned out he was a bit too young and too green, and as they say, he rolled out of there just as quick as he rolled in and went to the Navy. And it's in the Navy that Tom Brown began his education in electronics. After World War II, he talked his way back into MIT, where he earned a general engineering degree in 1949. He began teaching. He soon figured out what I have to tell him is still true, and that is that the head of electrical engineering doesn't make as much money as a career startup in technical work today. Teachers don't get paid well, and so he abandoned that career for the world of business. And what better way to start preparing yourself for that task than the Harvard Business School, where in 1952 he completed an MBA. Tom Brown and his partner, Paige Burr, founded BURR-BROWN Corporation in Tucson in 1956, just a few years out of his MBA. It was a partnership based on their mutual admiration for an astounding new device, the transistor, and their equally astounding discovery that virtually no electronic instruments in that day were being built with transistors. His partner describes Tom as an Edisonian engineer. And I think we know what that means, a perfectionist who succeeds through repeated efforts to get it right. The company struggled initially, and Brown paid himself no salary for the first 3 years, until in 1959 the company showed its first profit. He eventually bought out his partner, and in 1983, BURR-BROWN went public. Tom Brown dabbled with semi-retirement in 1976, when at age 50 he stepped down as head of day-to-day operations. However, challenges that the company was facing brought him out of retirement in 1993, when at age 66 he returned as president and CEO. His most recent retirement was in April of 1998. In August of 2000, Texas Instruments acquired BURR-BROWN in a stock deal valued at $7.6 billion. It's the largest acquisition ever in the semiconductor industry and the largest corporate merger in Arizona state history. For over 40 years, BURR-BROWN has been an ever-present force in the economic well-being of Tucson. By the strength of its products and its international reach, it's now brought Texas Instruments into the portfolio of companies that drive Tucson's and Arizona's economy. And over that same period, Tom Brown has worked with almost religious fervor to improve the quality of life for those who call Tucson home. He's used his talents to address problems of local and regional transportation, tax reform, school finance, airline services into Tucson, and mental health care, to name just a few of the areas of his concern. It is for all these reasons, and for many more, that we honor Tom Brown as the 2001 Technology Executive of the Year. Tom Brown.
Here's the deal. This event will be over minus 5 minutes ago, but a story comes to mind, and I want to give you a choice. I'm going to tell you, I think, an amazing story about the convergence of engineering, management, and serendipity. You should feel free to leave whenever you have to leave or whenever you want to leave. But I'm going to continue till I finish the story. I want to show you a vacuum tube. A vacuum tube is what all electronic equipment was made using in the 1950s and later on. When the transistor came along, which is represented by one of these tiny little chips, that represented a windfall change, a watershed change in what was going to happen in electronics. Now, I've done some awful dumb things in my career. I want to tell you about some of them. First of all, I thought that you didn't have to go to class in order to graduate from college. I thought at the time of graduation, though I was somewhat of a civil engineer, that we had enough roads in this country, and we didn't need any more roads, particularly in Connecticut. But that was the very beginning of the interstate highway system. I didn't see that coming. I started in Tucson in a residential construction company and got fired, largely because I did not think anybody would live east of Wilmont Road, which now over half of Tucson lives east of Wilmont Road. I never go there anymore. I had another brilliant idea that 20 years ago that we could fix all of our transportation problem if we would just absorb 25 cents a gallon gas tax in order to fund it. I did the analysis. It was conclusive. It was absolutely correct. And I thought all I had to do was go to the legislature and explain it to them, and they would do it. They passed a 2-cent gas tax and told me to go back south of Nogales. All these experiences came into play in what happened in BURR-BROWN. This was our first product. Consists of batteries and 4 transistors. That evolved over the years into smaller and smaller amplifiers, smaller, cheaper, better, more reliable, and cool. One of the big problems with vacuum tubes is they had no reliability, which meant that if you got 1,000 of them together to make a computer, the computer might run for an hour, and then one of the vacuum tubes would break and you'd shut the whole computer down. It was the reliability of the transistor that enabled all the new things that have happened in the last 50 years, of which we all now take for granted. Computers, handheld computers, all kinds of servo systems, to automatic pilots, to CAT scan machine, all of that made possible because the transistor was small, could run on small voltage, and was so reliable that you could get thousands of them working for hundreds of thousands of hours. But that was a big deal. Now, I did one smart thing in my whole career. When Page Burr sent me that transistor and I hooked it up and I saw what it would do, and I learned that nobody else was making any equipment utilizing transistors, a light bulb turned on. Well, that was one hell of a good idea. I stuck with that for the last 45 years. And we evolved our product, grew the company, learned a lot of things about management along the way, and by plagiarizing and reading and going to university classes and going to seminars and so on. We had a director that joined us, wanted to buy the company out in 1982 or something, offered me $50,000 for it, and I thought I would take it. But the Southern Arizona Bank encouraged me not to sell for that and to stick with it. We were still not making any money to speak of. So I convinced him to become one of my directors. He was the most valuable director I think I ever had. His name was Walter Baird. He was the founder and CEO of Baird Atomic in Boston. Baird Atomic never did too well. Walter made an awful lot of mistakes, and he was willing to share those mistakes with me. One of the favorite stories I remember from him was, he says, you've got to do your counting right. Now, in my company, we don't use LIFO or FIFO to value inventory. We use FISH. That's F-I-S-H, which stands for first in, still here. So picking up those tips along the way were very helpful to me, because one thing we had to do, we had to live within the discipline of engineering. We had to have good products. You could not avoid Ohm's law, and you had to understand feedback. In the management area, that's not quite so precise and rigorous, but there are a lot of principles and laws you got to understand to make that work also. But after you've done all of that, if you've heard from other people, you've got to have a heavy input of serendipity or luck. And we had a lot of that. And you got to make enough mistakes to get your humility factor where it belongs. And you can learn from that too. The first 25 years was growing, and it was fun. Everything was new. It was fun working in the kitchen sink, developing printed circuits and in a closet for darkroom, and making a product that was shot to the moon on the Ranger program. First thing from the Earth to crash on the moon was a product that I held and worked on in my kitchen. Well, that's very fulfilling in a way. And everything was kind of like that. Pick a new subject. Any piece of equipment. We'll make it with transistors. We'll make it work. The next 15 years was more work, not quite as much fun. We were being overrun by the semiconductor industry. We had to get in it. We didn't have any money to get in it because it was big capital investment. So we had to partner with Motorola and Sprague Electric and several other companies in order to get our foothold in semiconductors, which we eventually got our own factory to do. Now, you take some of these semiconductors, and this, I think you can see them, perhaps. Every one of those little chips may have anywhere from 20 to 1,000 transistors in it. Now, think of the impact of the cost and the size and the heat that the transistor improved upon the old vacuum tube, which sat there and lit up like Christmas trees. So hot you had to have a special house to run them in. Well, did you know, you probably don't even know what one looks like now, because I don't think anybody's used them for 30 or 40 years. So we had to have one break. I have just 4 or 5 things I'd like to say about the secret of success, if we have the secret. You've got to have good engineering and products. And you've got to have good management. And to have those, you've got to get into an area that is a market that's expanding and growing so much and so fast that it leaves room for a lot of mistakes for those in it. Management principles are pretty simple too. We had to have a good purpose, a noble purpose, I called it. We wanted to do something, make something for the benefit of mankind. So did our product meet that? Did our product offer the best price to our customer for the performance we were selling? And could we build it at a cost less than that price? And could we continue to run and grow a business out of its own earnings, which we pretty much did for the last 45 years, although we did become publicly held in 1983 because we had to raise some money to get into the semiconductor world. Well, our products had to serve a real need. They had to have, or we had to have, some unique competence in order to build them. And we didn't need, nor did we have, an awful lot of competition. So it was a nice world to work in. We had a corporate culture that was very helpful too, and that we did try to set clear and noble goals, attract and retain the best of competent people, earn a reputation for integrity and competence, had to show a lot of respect for individuals that associated with the company. We had to expect that everyone would act in their enlightened long-term self-interest. While I take credit for founding the company, I do not deserve the credit for its success. The people deserving that credit were some 6,000 employees that passed through BURR-BROWN over its history, 25,000 customers that helped us along the way, the University of Arizona with its courses and its graduates, and its help from its faculty, going all the way back to Tom Martin, head of EE department there. Granino Korn, the father of analog computing, that was really the operational amplifier, the heart of the engineering and the products that we made. Our community helped us a lot, and the state. And we had a good environment, economic, to work and grow in. Those combinations of people helping us really deserve the success of BURR-BROWN. Now, no one has left yet, so it gives me a chance to tell a story that I heard from Jack Davis about a man who was a luncheon speaker and prepared his long luncheon speech, and he gave it, and as he was giving it, he noticed people started to getting up and going and leaving the room. And as he was nearing the end, he found there was only one person remaining in the room, and that was a man who was sitting on the front edge of his chair and looking very intently at the speaker. The speaker finished, said, "Sir, I just have to ask you, what did you find so interesting about my speech?" And the man said, "I'm the next speaker." Well, BURR-BROWN made a significant contribution, I think, to all of its stakeholders. We exported our labor into foreign markets. Our market, by the way, was a third Asia, a third Europe, a third U.S. We brought all that money back into the state of Arizona, didn't let too much of it get away. So we helped the prosperity of the people of Arizona and Tucson, made a major impact. And we benefited all of our stakeholders, I think. BURR-BROWN has been my life, my vocation, my pleasure, my pastime. It greatly exceeded my original expectations. And I wish any of you in a starting or continuing position the same degree of serendipity that BURR-BROWN enjoyed, and thank you all for listening. And remember, there was once a place called BURR-BROWN. Thank you.
And that was dynamite. Fantastic.
I'd like to thank Sarah and Mary, of course, and the Thomas R. Brown Foundation for your support in keeping this program going that benefits our student and faculty so much, and keeping the wonderful spirit and mindset of Thomas R. Brown alive today. We're grateful to you as well for persevering with us through the pandemic in the last few years. Your determination to ensure that this tradition going with the virtual lunch for all of our students the last 2 years was welcomed and appreciated by everyone, as were your encouraging words and actions throughout the difficult time. You really made a difference in keeping the spirit of this program going, and we're grateful for that. I do want to share regrets that Dr. Jennifer Barton from the College of Engineering, our Thomas R. Brown Distinguished Chair, could not make it. She's at a conference, as you mentioned, Sarah, in Copenhagen on ovarian cancer, and she's very sorry that she could not join us, but she's certainly carrying forward the Thomas R. Brown name, and we're grateful for that. Before recognizing the College of Engineering Thomas R. Brown Scholars for this year, I would like to take a moment to welcome a few of our TRB Scholar alumni who are joining us today. They're among 16 Scholar alums who shared updates with us on their careers recently. This accomplished group today has gone on to achieve success in academia and business, or addressing problems that benefit mankind, as Tom Brown would want them to do. For example, one is working on a respiratory assist device to help COPD patients. Another is launching a startup based on his solar energy concentration research, and yet another is working to realize net zero emissions with a major oil company. Would our alums from the Thomas R. Brown Scholars cohort please stand up so we can recognize you today that made it? Thank you for coming. Thanks for carrying on the tradition. Our current scholars are a very impressive cohort, brimming with potential and brimming with enthusiasm. 11 of them have held internships or participated in undergraduate research. Virtually all of them are involved in UA clubs and societies, including Theta Tau, the Society of Women Engineers, Engineering Council, Engineers Without Borders, the Wildcat Racing Team, to name a few. 5 hold leadership positions in their clubs and organizations. All are excellent students. They're leaders, innovators, problem solvers, and they are Wildcat engineers. And it's my pleasure to recognize the College of Engineering Thomas R. Brown Scholar. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing so we can give you a collective round of applause when we're done. Lionel Almanzar, please stand and stay standing. Susan Burrell. Henry Calkins. Got 3 now that couldn't make it. Sebastian Diaz, John Dominguez Trujillo, and Phoenix Garcia. Kate Hardkey. Christopher Cooper. Kevin May. Caitlin McKnight. Tom Murican. Nisha Rajakrishna, Vanessa Romero, and Maria Rahman could not make it today. Ahava Salman. Alec Sepulveda. And Rebecca Shanks. Congratulations to y'all. You have proud of you to carry on the tradition. You can be seated. We now have the opportunity to hear a few words from the College of Engineering's Thomas R. Brown student speaker, Kevin May. Kevin is a senior pursuing a degree in aerospace engineering with minors in planetary science and astronomy. Carmi, you should like that. He is originally from Lakewood, Colorado. On campus, Kevin is the outreach officer for the University of Arizona's Students for the Exploration and Development of Space, SEDS. For the past year and a half, he has been working as a mission and rover systems engineering intern for the Viper lunar rover mission at NASA Ames. Outside of the classroom, when he has time, Kevin enjoys playing basketball, going to concerts, playing the drums, and spending time with his dog, Nova. Kevin's future plans include going to graduate school for space systems engineering or space robotics and pursuing a career involving robotic and crewed space mission development. Kevin, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the stage.
Dean Han. For as long as I can remember, I've been fascinated by space. As a kid, I remember staring up at the Colorado night sky in awe. The tiny, sparkling dots that fill the sky seemed so far away, and the idea of exploring other worlds seemed like a dream. However, now that my undergraduate career is coming to a close, and I look back at all the skills and experiences I've gained along the way, space seems a whole lot closer. The University of Arizona has enabled me to pursue my passion for space exploration in a truly unique way. Not only have I been able to obtain an exceptional education in aerospace engineering, but I've also had the opportunity to gain an interdisciplinary experience with my planetary science and astronomy minors and apply what I've learned to the real world. As an out-of-state student, the Brown Scholarship has truly made this possible. On campus, I am a member and the outreach officer of the University of Arizona Students for the Exploration and Development of Space. As a member of U-Arizona SEDS, I have been able to work on a number of projects, including designing, building, and launching science payloads on high-altitude balloons for near-space experiments. However, I believe that the most rewarding experience I've gained from SEDS has been my involvement in outreach. I've had the opportunity to coordinate with teachers in the Tucson community to do anything from teaching second graders about space and astronauts to talking with high schoolers about all the different paths that they can take to space-related careers. Being able to help inspire future generations of engineers and scientists is something that I am deeply grateful for. Although I have learned that if you tell second graders they can ask you questions at any time, you'll never get through the first slide. During my sophomore year, I participated in research with an aerospace professor at the university, investigating the possibility of asteroid surface exploration with small hopping robots. This led me to my current position at NASA Ames, working on the Viper lunar rover mission, which intends to search for water ice on the south pole of the moon in support of future crewed missions. For Viper, I have assisted in the effort to identify and mitigate risks to the rover and participated in rover mobility testing in a simulated lunar terrain lab. I am constantly making connections between my work and what I've learned in my engineering courses, which has truly helped me grow as a budding engineer. My lifelong goals are to help engineer essential space missions, contribute to making human life multiplanetary, and perhaps one day become an astronaut myself. Thanks to the generosity of the Thomas R. Brown Foundation, I and all my fellow engineering scholars are one giant leap closer to achieving our goals. For this, I would like to sincerely thank you on behalf of all of the engineering scholars. I hope that we can continue the tradition of generosity that you have helped establish to provide the same opportunities to the kids who are staring up at the stars tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. That was fantastic. And congratulations again to all of the engineering colleges, Thomas R. Brown scholars. We are most proud of each of you, and I know you will go off and do good things. I get now to help turn us to the Eller College of Management. I have the honor of introducing our newest dean, Dean Karthik Kannan. Dr. Kannan joined Eller just last month from Purdue University, where he was the Associate Dean for Research and Partnerships at the Krannert School of Management, Director of the Krennecke Center for Business Analytics and Machine Learning, as well as the Thomas Howard Chair in Management and a Professor of Management. Dr. Kannan earned his PhD in Information Systems from Carnegie Mellon University's H. John Heinz III School of Public Policy and Management. He also earned master's degrees in Electrical and Computer Engineering and Public Policy and Management from Carnegie Mellon. Karthik, we are very pleased to have you here to join us, and I know that there's going to be good interactions between business and engineering that Thomas R. Brown would be most proud of. Karthik.
Thank you, Dean Hahn. Appreciate it. I want to take this opportunity to thank Sarah, Mary, and the Thomas R. Brown Foundation. Thank you so much for the support that you've provided for our students and faculty. I joined, as I said, as David mentioned, August 1st. So it's been a great learning experience for me. And I've come to appreciate what this wonderful community has to offer. Your support will enable us to build on the success we've put together already and to further strengthen and invest in complementary activities. Talking about success, I want to take this minute or two to talk about what's been happening as regards updates. Under Eller's undergraduate program currently ranks number 20 among public institutions. MIS, which is part of Professor Sun Chu Chen is a part of that, is ranked number 2 among public institutions. And our entrepreneurship program is ranked number 10 among public institutions. We saw 11% increase in the number of students enrolled compared to last year. We are continuing to invest in the success of the students and the school as a whole. Currently, we are putting together a business analytics program and expeditiously starting it. If everything goes well, fingers crossed, we will have that launched by fall 2020. This is a program which the market needs, and we also have unique strengths, and this position UFA uniquely too, so we're working on it. Some of you may have heard about direct admit program. Paula must have talked about this last time as well. And we are guaranteeing student admission into Eller. This will remove uncertainty with some of the students regarding whether they'll get into their major or continuing their management program. So lots of stuff to talk about. It'll take me hours on end to talk about. We've talked some partnership activities with engineering, and we've had some conversations with the medical school. And we're also exploring things with College of Science. So lots of stuff to talk about, but I don't want to spend all the time here because it's about celebrating the students. So I'm going to pivot back and thank everybody. Thank you for your continued support. I appreciate that. We would not be able to achieve this success without your generosity and support. Thank you. Now, what I'd like to do is I want to introduce first the 2022-23 recipients of Ehlers Thomas R. Brown Scholarship Award winners. I'm going to call out the names. Please stand up. Just like how we did it with engineering, we'll have a round of applause towards the end. I'm going to call out the names of students. Derek Noha, Vu Lee, Kieran Huffman, Peter Lane, Raphael Lepark, Reina Menokal, Ryan Duffy, and Brianna Akhitary. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. And these people, we look forward to their strong success as they move on as well. I want to introduce Brian Akhitary, who's going to be our next speaker. She originally is from Salem, Oregon. Brianna is currently senior majoring in MIS and business economics, along with a minor in Chinese language. Throughout her career, or throughout her years on campus, I don't know how I'm not able to read. Throughout her years on campus, she's been able to participate in numerous club activities, serving many different positions. Most notable accomplishments have been founding and presiding over the club swim team, serving as a vice president of finance for her sorority, and being part of the advanced Zipperman Associates program, serving as its vice president for recruitment and outreach. Outside of club involvement, she volunteers at Sister Jose's Women's Center and works as a student analyst for the Office of Budget and Planning. Want to welcome you, Brianna. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Dean Cannon, for the introduction. I'd like to start off by thanking both the Brown Foundation as well as those of Gerald J. Swanson for their generosity and commitment to students such as all of us in this room. For the past 4 years, I've worked hard to make my collegiate experience represent more than a piece of paper at the end of 4 years. No matter how much my mom told me to take a step back and focus solely on my education, I simply didn't have it in me. One of my greatest achievements during my time here has been founding and presiding over the swim club I established, Arizona Club Swimming. Coming from out of state and looking for anything to provide me comfort, I approached my now advisor about a swim club on campus. The response I received was, "There is not one, but here's my card. You can start one." Being the ambitious individual that I am, I took the card thinking, how hard could it be? Well, it turns out that having no connections on campus, combined with a global pandemic, made it much harder than my 19-year-old self could have imagined. My only strategy was to fake it till I made it. And through it all, I was able to fake it well enough to grow the club to its current size of over 30 members. As much as I love swimming and could talk about it all day, starting the club has done much more for me than provide me with some friends to swim with. I was able to learn the power of networking, working in teams, failing, thriving, and then failing again in order to reach my goal. Having the opportunity to grow and learn with such a diverse group of people has shown me that it truly does take a village. Along with my accomplishments on the pool deck, I've had the pleasure of helping women such as myself network, build connections, and learn financial responsibility. Although my position as a vice president of finance for my sorority was not one I anticipated for myself, I've been able to leverage the experience for myself as well as others. My position has involved helping members independently navigate the financial landscape of not only a university, but a Panhellenic sorority. I'm proud to say that during my time on the executive board, I've been able to serve over 300 women and establish a $25,000 scholarship that will benefit members for at least the next 5 years. Looking to take my efforts off campus, I began serving at Sister Jose's Women's Center here in Tucson. Pulling from my own experiences as a female, and especially one raised by a single mother, I wanted to help give back to organizations that help people like me. Although I was not able to have much money or resources, I was able to assist women looking for safety and a friend. I was especially inspired by their high spirits, tenacious ambition, and love for the simple things in life. I specifically remember helping a woman find an outfit to wear to a job interview. Seeing her drive and dedication to excel in all that she could despite her circumstances inspired me to not only have that same ambition for myself, but to make sure she had everything she could to succeed. Standing here now and looking back at these past 3 years and looking forward to the next, I see myself in a place my 19-year-old self could have never imagined. Coming from a single-parent household, not knowing what college would mean for me or my family, I'm able to stand here not only proud of where I come from, but proud of everything I've accomplished. With the help of the Brown Foundation, I'll be graduating debt-free with 2 degrees and experiences I know will continue to impact me both personally and professionally for a very long time. Although I didn't know what I was getting myself into going into Eller, I now proudly brag about all that I've learned to my friends and peers who don't get to live the Eller experience for themselves. I would once again like to thank not only the Brown Foundation and those of Gerald J. Swanson, but also the Eller College and all the people who believed in me even when I did not. Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna. Very, very moving with all your activities and having an impact. It's truly representing Thomas R. Brown Foundation as well. Now, I want to take this next moment to recognize the recipients of Gerald J. Swanson Endowed Scholarship for Excellence in Economics. And again, I'd like to call out people, and if you could stand, that'll be great. Christian Barnjack, Brianna Akhitary again, Michael Emmons, Johnson Liu, Cameron McLean, Hugh Nguyen, Eva Kitner, Yuli Zhao, and last but not least, Courtney Arrowsmith. Again, we are very proud of you. We are very proud that you're affiliated with this endowed scholarship. I want to I refer to Courtney towards the end because she's going to be our next speaker. Courtney, our next speaker, is a business economics Spanish major. She's a junior and is set to graduate in May of 2024. She's originally from Colorado Springs, Colorado, before moving to Tucson to attend Eller. She came to the university and the Eller College because she fell in love with the campus and the environment and thought that it was a perfect place to get outside her comfort zone and pursue her passions. Currently, she's a team leader for the Spark Entrepreneurship Club, the front desk clerk in Eller College, and maintains a 4.0 GPA, doing all that. After graduation, she hopes to begin a career in consulting so that she can use her skills and knowledge to make practical changes in organizations that help them function and grow. After she has some experience in the business world, she hopes to one day open her own small business, which she said is a coffee shop. All right? Well, we welcome you, Courtney.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dean Kannan, for the introduction. I want to start off by saying a huge thank you to the Thomas R. Brown Foundation as well as the Gerald Swanson Scholarship Foundation. These scholarships, I speak for myself, and I think I can speak for everyone here, they make a huge difference in our lives and our careers and our educations. I know for myself, this will help me to graduate debt-free from college, which is amazing and such a blessing. It also gives me the opportunity to focus on my academics and be involved on campus, which is also an amazing opportunity because that's what I'm here for. And this gives me the chance to do that and to focus on that without having the added stress of finances. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. About myself, I'm from Colorado Springs, Colorado. As he said, I grew up there, spent my whole life there until it was time to choose where to go for college. I knew I wanted to go somewhere outside of Colorado, experience something different. And when I visited here, I just absolutely loved the campus. I knew Eller had a great program for what I wanted to do, and that's what made me come. Over my last 2 years, I chose to become a major in economics because it's something that I'm so interested in, and every course that I've taken, I've loved. I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Outside of the classroom, I also have participated in multiple clubs. This included a pre-professional club my freshman year, as well as last year I participated in the Spark Entrepreneurship Club, which let me work on presentations with groups, like for the U of A bookstore and for Coca-Cola. Actually, in January, I'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia to present for Coca-Cola with that club. And then this year, I'm a team lead for the club, which is a really cool opportunity to get to kind of pour back my experience into the grade younger than me. Being involved in this club has also made me want to major in entrepreneurship, so hopefully I'll be adding that next year. I'm applying for it now. Outside of that, I plan when I graduate to pursue a career in consulting. I want to take the skills and knowledge that I've learned here in college and apply that to the real world to help real people solve real problems. And I think that's the beauty of the education that I get here, is it's really practical stuff. It's not just theory in a classroom, but it's important things that I can take with me and use to make the lives of those around me better. And I'm excited to do that. And then after that, once I have some experience in the industry, I would like to one day open and own my own coffee shop. I hope to be able to do that maybe in Colorado, which is where I'm from. But I want to open that so that I can reach more people and use my business knowledge and entrepreneurial skills in order to reach that. So again, thank you guys so much. I hope you learned a little bit more about me, but thank you for your part in my future and all of our futures here. We really appreciate you, and thank you so much.
It's an honor to be able to help the students who are here. You've already accomplished a lot, and you're not even graduates yet. Well, some of you are graduates, but it's really a privilege to help you. Our last speaker today is Dr. Dane Garzon, and she is the Dean of Science. We do not support scholarships in science. However, we do support research, and we support research scientists who do a tremendous amount of outreach and translating what's going on at the university to the world. One of our endowed professors was unable to join us today, but Joellen Russell is here. And they are two of the most prominent climate scientists anywhere. And I think climate change and how we can adapt to it is certainly, there's nothing more important in the long run. We have to deal with this. And it's also our pleasure and privilege to support their work. So, we've invited Dane Garzon to come say a few words and represent the College of Science.
So I first just want to applaud these students. Your stories are phenomenal. They're really inspiring, and it just gives us all of that hope and imagination of what you may achieve in the future and here at the University of Arizona. That kind of keeps us moving toward the goals that we have at universities like the U of A. So I'm delighted to be part of this gathering to celebrate distinguished faculty endowed chairs from the Thomas R. Brown Foundation and these impressive student scholars who will be future leaders in engineering, entrepreneurship, economics. Now, I'm no longer the newest dean, as you all met. Karthik, thank you for assuming that distinction. But in the year that I've been here as dean of the College of Science, I've learned very quickly about the many ways that Thomas R. Brown Foundation has positively impacted the University of Arizona and our community. Over the years, the foundations have touched almost every part of this campus. Importantly, they have invested in the people and programs that emulate Thomas R. Brown's values and strengths: education, innovation, mathematics, science, engineering, entrepreneurship, and economics. The foundations have made these critical investments with an eye towards securing a brighter future for our community and our world. I'm so grateful to the trustees that had the vision and foresight to establish the Thomas R. Brown Distinguished Chair in Integrative Science in the College of Science. We are addressing the most pressing issues of our time, such as global climate change, with faculty who are able to integrate knowledge across a range of scientific disciplines to change the way we understand Earth and the universe beyond. The individuals who have been awarded this distinguished endowed chair have demonstrated their ability to lead complex, multi-agency research programs, expanding our knowledge and making far-reaching discoveries. And this very much reflects the spirit of Thomas R. Brown and his goal in impacting society and integrating ideas to do what seemed impossible. The first to hold the Thomas R. Brown Distinguished Chair in Integrative Science was Dr. Peter Smith. And he was the principal investigator of the Phoenix Mars mission, the first NASA mission to be led by a public university, and not our last. And I think, at that time, really capturing the very vast integration of a wide range of science and discipline and engineering disciplines were reflected in Peter's contributions on this project. After Peter, the next chairs were all in climate science and geosciences, as this has emerged as a really important area for Thomas R. Brown's foundation. And so the honor first went to Jonathan Overpeck, who served as the lead author for the Nobel Prize-winning Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. This was the very well-known, well-received fourth assessment in 2007. He now serves as the dean of the School for Environment and Sustainability at the University of Michigan. Now, Jonathan was a faculty member in geosciences, and our geosciences department is ranked number 2 nationally among public and private universities, and ranked very highly globally. And it's in part because of its breadth, strength, interdisciplinarity, and its foresight to include topics like climate change as well as paleoclimate, which helps us see what we may be headed for in the near future. And so the next chairholders that I'm going to highlight, of course, fall in that vein. And I just want to highlight that their ability to connect across many disciplines, from interior of Earth, surface, oceans, atmospheres, really captures that opportunity to really push our understanding beyond where we are today and identify problems that need to be solved. Dr. Joellen Russell, who's here in the audience with us, she became the next chairholder after Jonathan Overpeck, and she's an oceanographer and a climate scientist, and holds joint appointments in the departments of planetary science, hydrology and atmospheric sciences, geosciences, and mathematics, and the program in applied mathematics. Again, interdisciplinarity being the theme. You might have seen or read about Joellen as the founder of Science Moms, and that's yet another important theme among these folks. They are not only doing amazing science, they are impacting society, and folks who come from backgrounds who may not have a deep understanding of the sciences. And so this group is organized around giving moms the facts about the climate crisis and its impact on children's health. In 2021, Joellen was named a University Distinguished Professor in recognition of her commitment to undergraduate education and outstanding contributions at the University of Arizona. Joellen's work has been so impressive that her appointment as chair has been extended beyond the 5-year period to enable the college to have 2 Thomas R. Brown Distinguished Chairs in Integrative Science at the same time. And this brings me to Dr. Jessica Tierney. This year, Jessica earned the honor of being the newest and 4th Thomas R. Brown Distinguished Chair in Integrative Science, also in climate science. Jessica is a geoscientist who is highly regarded for her research in paleoclimatology, which investigates past ancient climates to understand the near future and current climate change. At nearly the same time as her selection for this award, and completely independent of this selection, Jessica was recognized as one of 3 scientists this year to receive the Alan T. Waterman Award, the highest honor that NSF bestows on early career scientists. Jessica is the first University of Arizona recipient of the Waterman Award, which speaks both to her impact and the visibility that she brings to our campus. Jessica is on sabbatical in Europe right now and could not be here for obvious reasons today, but I know that she looks forward to participating in future gatherings and meeting you all. In closing, I just want to thank Thomas R. Brown's Foundation and all of you for believing in science and empowering our most impactful interdisciplinary scientists to address some of our most pressing problems. I'm so grateful for your support of these exceptional scientists. So, thank you.
Well, congratulations to all the students, to everyone here, even my husband and my sister. Hope you're really successful in your endeavors. And that concludes our program. This is truly it's a pleasure to see you all and hear your remarks, and it is an honor to be a small part of preparing you for what you're going to do in the world. Thank you.